Well, there you go, folks. Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about setting the L-Tec Zero System. If you're already familiar with our regular L-Tec Zero System, then the process here is going to be very similar. We've just had a few updates to make it even quicker and more simple. It's worth mentioning that the only time you're going to have to go through the processes we'll talk about here are when you're zeroing the Riflescope, whether that's for the first time or if you're re-zeroing for whatever reason. First things first, we're going to want to make sure our turrets are in the correct position before we get started. Our elevation turret, we should make sure that we are on the bottom rotation. That is indicated by a hard zero stop. It will allow us to go 5 clicks beyond our zero, just in case when we're actually shooting. So just make sure that we're indexed to 0 from there. We also have our rotation indicator that will tell us when we're on the bottom rotation. And also with our windage turret, just make sure that we're indexed to the 0 marker here as well. Now, unlike most rifle scopes, when we get to the bore sight or the first shots that we're sending down range or we're starting to make adjustments to the turrets, we're actually not going to use the outer part of the turret that you see and grab onto normally during your regular shooting. Here in this case, we're actually going to make adjustments independently to the inner turret only. This is how we will go about sighting in our Riflescope. In order to disengage that inner turret from the outer turret, we have just one set screw here that you can see on the outside that we're going to loosen. That disengages, and then the opposite side of this included tool that comes in the box we'll use to make our adjustments there for both elevation and windage. So let's say we wanted to make an elevation adjustment based again on our bore sight or our first shots down range during the sight in. We're going to loosen up this set screw. The set screw does not need to come all the way out of the turret. It just needs to be backed out enough that when we go to move this inner turret, it can be adjusted independently. When you go to make adjustments, the inner turret here will have laser engravings on it with hash marks indicating how much you're making with your adjustments. Now on the MRAD model here, just like the outer turret, the inner turret's hash marks represent 0.1 MRAD increments. On the MOA scope, just like the outer turret again, the inner turret's laser markings will indicate quarter MOA increments. One thing you'll notice as you go to make adjustments for both the elevation and windage inner turrets is that when this lock screw is disengaged, there won't be any clicks at all to your adjustments here. It's just going to be a smooth rotation. That is on purpose actually, and it's a really nice benefit because you get infinite adjustability for your sight in. In theory, that means that with this MRAD scope here, if our perfect sight in our perfect zero spot would have otherwise been between 2.1 MRAD clicks, now it allows us to get right in between there if we needed to adjust just 0.05 mils for a really precise zero. So throughout the sight in process, you'll make your elevation and windage adjustments using this inner turret as you normally would. And you can take shots with your rifle when this lock screw is disengaged. That's just fine. Do your groupings, make adjustments as necessary until you're perfectly sighted in, and at that point, we're gonna go in and tighten down the lock screws. When you go to tighten those set screws, there's no need to go incredibly tight, just tight enough to the point where the inner turret no longer moves independently of the outer turret. And from there, you're just using the Riflescope and the turrets as you normally would. You'll see that your clicks will be present on both the elevation and windage turrets as you go to adjust them. Also with our elevation turret, we're going to have our hard zero stop, preventing over travel as you dial back to your zero. But otherwise, it's just a regular Riflescope from there, and you shouldn't have to worry about doing this process any other times, again, unless you had to re-zero for whatever reason. So there you have it, folks. That's how to go about the setup procedure with the L-Tec Zero System. If you have any other questions at all about this particular system or really any of our products in general, please feel free to let us know. You can hit us up in the comments below or reach us via phone, email, social media, whatever works best for you. We always love hearing from you guys. And until next time, we'll see you on the next video.